Jerome JT62 back on the Pegasus 12. This is the second part of wiring to clean this machine up. If it's something you're interested in, stay tuned. So here we are back out on the Maker Farm Pegasus 12. Wanted to show you the upgrades or the wiring concealment that I'm at thus far. We're going to keep this a little bit short. I received the channel cover, and on the back side that's what it looks like. Came out really nice. You can see how the conceals the wires. I decided to go full length on that. You can put pieces in. There's also cable management that you can print up. I just like that because it's flat. If you're wondering why this bed is rotated at 90 degrees like this, I have a lot to talk about on that, and we're going to get back to that. We walk around to the ramp side. This is the wiring portion of this. I gave myself plenty of slack in case something else goes down here and I need to pull that out of there. I'm not stretched for length there, so you want a little bit of extra. Like I said before, make sure you give yourself some slack in there, but you can see how that cleaned up real good. Also, this is where all the wire pretty much comes through. All of them aren't in there yet, but that will be tied up on there to tidy that up. So at this point, it's coming out really nice. Really nice. As far as the wire cleanup. You remember what it looked like in part 1. This ribbon cable, I did receive the ribbon cable. I think it's 12 feet. I'm up in the air as to whether I'm going to extend that or not. After I got everything together, I think it's going to come out, and I can get that put up there in a neat fashion. So it'll pretty much be like that, but it's not going to be hanging down within the machine itself. So back to this cable, or not cable, but table bed here. This is rotated at 90 degrees, and that's for a reason. A subscriber of mine, his name is Kurt McLean. This guy's amazing with, you know, the stuff that he comes up with and the designs, and they're just, it's like off the hat. It's so fast, and they're workable. So his idea was to rotate this bed 90 degrees, and that was to put the the wiring on this side, and it makes absolute sense, so that, you know, the chain is in here. If it's on the back side, if you enclose this structure, that chain is going to extend out here, and that's not going to work. Excellent idea. Excellent idea. I mean, Kurt comes up with so many things. I can't keep up with him. He's beyond me in design. He knows how to operate this machine. He already has one. He's building this. Obviously, he knows it's a good machine. Excellent build platform. And very generous guy. He's actually printing up the chain and the standoff that he designed for this for me. I'm blown away by that. Blown away. He also came up with a Z chain for here with the standoffs. It's unbelievable. He's printing that up for me, sending that out. He's instrumental in a lot of this wiring concealment. He's interested in the same thing. You know, he wants a machine that looks good, not only good but functional. He's coming up with, he actually made a drawing up for this panel that is outstanding. So I'm telling him he should make his own channel. He's got a lot to offer. And you know, his knowledge, what he knows about this stuff. You know, I'm gonna tap into that. I mean, I'm new to this not CNC, but 3D printer stuff, and this is a perfect guy to help. I mean, and hell of a nice guy. So hats off to you, Kurt. I appreciate it. So a lot of this wiring, concealment, and management is coming from him. He is doing a lot of other things as far as dual extruder on here. I think it's a McClue 42 or something like that, a dual head. He's already got the parts printed up for that. So I gotta see what he's coming up with, because he's got to be some kind of NASA engineer or something like this, because he comes up with this stuff within like minutes. It takes me hours, like a whole day, to come up with something simple, and he comes up with this stuff that blows my mind. He's also interested in doing sides on this like I am. I have some ideas. I have one really big idea that I want to run across him and see what he thinks about this. And that's as far as, you know, putting heat back into this enclosure. Since he's experienced with this, you know, he can put some insight on that and, you know, come up with, we'll talk about it and see what he comes up with and what I'm thinking. He can design. I can tell him what I'm thinking, and he can come up with a design within like minutes. It's like magical. So this is where we're at this point. I'm still waiting on the cable chain. This is what I came up with for this design. Kurt also has a design, because I ran into some problems with this. Originally I ran the chain out through here, and it was anchored onto the screw hole in here. That's a 5mm screw with a standoff. But there was an issue that, you know, as the Z-axis came up, the chain's like sitting here, so it cut 1 inch off. So didn't want to do that, so I ended up moving it to the inside here, and that's just like 1/8 aluminum stock. That's a 1x1. Yeah, it's a little less than, I think it's 3/32 inch thick on this side. L bracket. And those will be mounted in there. They're just taped on for now. I'm going to wait until I get that other chain. I may need something wider, especially if I go with what Kurt is thinking he's going to do with this. And adding a dual extruder at some point. First I got to learn this single before I worry about a dual. And then this is just a L bracket again, 1x1. And then on the back side. It's just a threaded plate on the back side, and the bolt threads through into that rectangle slot you have in there, and it's basically pinched on there. I mean, it doesn't move one at all, and this side is just as solid. Originally I had one screw in there. I don't know what I was thinking, but I put another one in there. So like I said, Kurt is a very generous guy. He's printing this stuff up for me. He comes up with these designs. He's willing to share that with me. I can't say enough about that. Really appreciate that. If I'm ever out in Minnesota, definitely going to look him up and we can talk and look at all the other projects we got going. He flies, looks like I see some radio control stuff in the background of his shop out there. You know, I like to fly the nitro helicopters, so we got a lot in common. A lot of the things that, you know, he had in his mind, you know, I had in my mind, but he's just light years ahead of me as far as design and, you know, getting those designs out to a workable part. So really appreciate it, Kurt. So in the next video, we're gonna have this cable chain designed by Kurt McLean installed here on the Z-axis. We'll have the not Z, I'm sorry, but Y. We'll have the Z-axis cable chain with the bracket. Another fine design by Kurt McLean. So as this machine progresses, many of the designs, if he sends them out to me and, you know, he's willing to, you know, put that stuff out there, then you're going to see that here. He's got a front panel drawn up for this already. Just came out of the blue. Perfect. So we'll continue to move on to part 3 with that. I'm going to try to keep these videos a little bit shorter, so you guys don't have to sit there for my typical 17-minute stuff. I've already removed the wiring from this. Another fine idea by Kurt was to install flexible silicone coated wire on there, so I bought that, and this is 12 gauge, by the way. It needed to be extended anyway, but I didn't like that from the get-go, and I didn't really think about that silicone wire. I mean, it's super flexible. You just have to watch the way you solder it and don't put too much heat on it. You don't want it to wick out of there, you know, wick on the back side by applying too much heat and then stiffen the wire. You got to get in there and get out. So pre-10 your wires. Get that heat on with a heat gun and not a soldering iron. You know, good size heat gun, and melt that stuff down. And that way, you know, that'll prevent that. And probably stay away from the rosin core. But at any rate, this is where we're at. I didn't want to keep you guys hanging too long before I did another video. Again, shout out to Kurt. Kind of blows me away that guys like that actually watch my channel, you know, get something out of that. That's what it's all about. Ideas. If you too proud to take somebody else's idea, then or use it or go with it or try to design with it, then that could be your downfall. So at any rate, we'll close this out. Once again, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. We'll see you in part 3.